Welcome back. This is KTN Morning Express. Thank you very much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the KICC, where the main launch of the mass voter registration by the IEBC will be conducted from as they launch the second phase of the mass voter registration, targeting about 4 to 6 million Kenyans. Remember, there are 9 million unregistered voters out there. So it's a scramble to register more voters for those aspiring to be leaders or to be elected in 2017. So at this point on the way it is, we'll be talking about matters, voters registration, issues surrounding it, the pre-election mood in the country, even as we head into August in the next about 200 days. Joining me in studio is Marcus Agenga. He is a programs officer at ILOG. We have Mombasa County Senator Hassan Omar and Felix Odhiambo, who is an election lawyer. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming in. Quite an exciting day for IEBC, for Kenyans, but I think I'll start with you, Felix. It has been a continuous process, but we still have about 9 million Kenyans who are not registered. We were having that conversation earlier on with Marcus and Omar. I would like to get it from you as a monitor of elections. Why would we be having as many Kenyans as we have who are eligible to vote, but are still unregistered?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. Yes, it's true that there are about 9 million Kenyans that are not registered.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are even a larger number who probably have reached the voting age, 18 years, but have not bothered to apply for the national identity cards.
Yeah.
I think basically voter registration all over the world, in terms of interest and in terms of excitement, is an area that normally election management bodies and political parties and the voters themselves need to do a lot in terms of interesting voters. I think the part of the problem has been the way the voter registration itself was designed. After 2010 Constitution and the Elections Act of 2011, it provided for continuous voter registration. Now, initially, the IEBC chose to go about it the wrong way, whereby the constituency coordinators were the people assigned the responsibility of registering voters. And it was until some of us actually pleaded with the IEBC that the best way to target as many people as possible, the best way to target a critical mass, was to in addition to the so-called continuous voter registration, come up with mass voter registration. It happens in South Africa, it happens in Nigeria, and it happens in Ghana, whereby the mass voter registration involves gazetting or selecting or choosing a particular month where you conduct mass voter registration. And it's preceded with serious publicity, a media campaign, and all the stakeholders are mobilized to sort of help influence voter registration. The other problem that has been why we in Kenya is lack of interest on the part of political parties and candidates to go out there and register and mobilize voters. Whereas IEBC registers, it is actually the responsibility of the political parties to ensure that they go out of their way, work around the clock, and mobilize and interest voters to do that. I'm interested and encouraged, given the two big rallies, COD, I don't know whether to call it NASA, and Jubilee that was done, I think, last week and 2 weeks ago, where political parties, or at least the major political formations, are resolved to go out there and actually participate in mass voter registration.
All right, before we continue, we also have another guest from our Mombasa Road studios, Ambrose Weda. He is a lawyer joining us from that end. A very good morning to you, Ambrose. Thank you very much for joining us on KTN Morning Express. As Felix has said, political parties have now come out in a very strong way to urge their supporters to register as voters. Do you think this will help the IEBC reach to its target of 6 million voters?
Yeah, I think they will be able to reach about 5 million. I know the prayer, let's say on the side of CORD would be that they register more, and the strongholds of Jubilee, they register less. But I think this publicity is good enough, especially because resources have now been put and people are gearing towards elections. So it is good, and it is incumbent upon all of us to urge people not only to register as voters, but also to vote on the material day. The critical issue here is that I know there are quite a number of people who do not have the IDs and may not get the IDs in good time to register.
Ambrose says that he thinks we will get to a mark of 5 million registered voters. Are you seeing hope in that, Hassan?
I mean, at this time, the enthusiasm by political parties, the way we've sent out and our brigades are going out, is because there is a general notion that the elections will be won or lost at this point in time, in terms of the voter registration. So Ambrose, to that extent, is right. Because, in fact, we feel that the registration is what we would regard as our stronghold. A little